Sam, your views on Trump and Venezuela?
Many are claiming that Trump is recolonizing Venezuela. If recolonization by Trump means peace, stability, and prosperity, so be it. I would like Trump, in fact, to extend his hands and go to my native Africa. Many of the countries in Africa today failed states. They are sinking under the mountain of corruption and population explosion. This is causing a crisis that is driving millions to come abroad to look for a better life. We need to be recolonized.
Of course, Sam. Many would argue, including lots of rather eminent historians and economists, among others, that it is colonization and European colonization that was at least a significant part of the contemporary political problems of many of the states that you were talking about.
It is the opposite. If Africa was never colonized, where would we be?
Well, there were plenty of countries that weren't colonized. Japan wasn't colonized, and they're doing all right.
Well, they're doing all right, but not Africa.
Right. Well, there are countries which were colonized that are doing well, and some that weren't and aren't. I'm not sure.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm talking from personal experience.
Yes,
I was there when the British were there.
I mean, America quite literally had a colony in the United States, in Africa, called Liberia, which has had plenty of problems. So I'm not necessarily sure that recolonization will do terribly well.
What has happened since the American and the British left Africa? In chaos.
Right, okay. Well, Sam, it's a view, and grateful for it.
I've been listening to LBC for years and years and years and dreaming.
Dreaming. Oh,
that
my
in
goodness.
in my country, such a wonderful debate
Yes,
would
indeed.
be allowed.
I know. I love your country. I went there a couple of years ago.
I feel very emotional about this subject.
Yes.
I'm feeling joy. I have got so many things to say, Nick. But first of all, I would like to say that I'm not a Trump fan at all. Yes? But today, I feel grateful. I want to thank Trump, his administration. I want to thank Marco Rubio for taking a tyrant.
Why are you so happy, Judith?
I'm very happy because in Venezuela there wasn't a leader in power. He was a narco tyrant, a dictator, an assassin, a repressor. Yes, he was trained in Havana by the Cuban regime. He was trained there. He was put in power in Venezuela by the Cuban regime. He was protected until 2 days ago by the Cuban regime. His INA security circle was Cuban's military
Guards, yes.
Correct.
Judith, people say that Donald Trump has acted illegally.
Donald Trump, listen, where were those people? Where was those people? Where are they? Since 1959, that Fidel Castro won the revolution, since then has been violating the human rights of Cuban citizens. Where were those people when Chavez destroyed democracy in Venezuela, destroyed the oil industry and every single industry, confiscating everything, yes? Enriching himself, his regime. Yes, where were those people?
Yes,
Where were those people when Maduro stole the elections in August 2024 on the face of the world?
I know, Judith. He did steal the election because he was so far behind his opponent. Judith, what should the British Prime Minister do or say now? Judith?
I heard you.
Would you like to see? Should the British Prime Minister come out and and fully support Donald Trump? Should he say, "Well, we need to be sure about the law here"? What should he say, Judith?
No, he should support it fully. It's about time that we support our allies. Yes. When we are in trouble, when Europe is in trouble, we want America to intervene. We want the help of America.
Okay.
But when America acts for their own security, because this is not about oil only,
No.
This I truly believe that this is American security. Here they
Okay, and lastly, what do you hope this means for your home country, Cuba, and Cubans? What would you like to see happen there?
We are begging, we are praying. We've been begging United States to intervene in Cuba, like they have done that now of course, we don't want civilian casualties.
But
with a precise operation like they did in Iran, like they did in Venezuela, and we want them to eliminate the Cuban regime.
Nervousness about troops going into Ukraine as peacekeepers? Morning, Robert.
Good morning, Nick. Happy New Year.
And to you, sir.
I always think that sometimes the most trivial points that I make that seem like jokes or seem like are actually the most important points that I make. And, it's sort of same with this one. I think if anyone is interested really in boots on the ground at the moment, I think they'd much, be better placed to go to Snow and Rock in Chertsey and get themselves a good pair there and go hiking around Snowdonia, where I first heard Putin's announcement, in his own words, for a mission to secure peace in the Ukraine on the 22/02/2022.
Yep.
I think at the time we were probably still retreating from Kabul, and if they'd had the same sort of nonsense of closing down gyms and banning leisure centres and whatever and restricting events, probably a lot of people coming over from Afghanistan thinking, oh my God, that's the Taliban's job.
Is this another military folly in your book, Robert?
Sorry?
Another military folly in your book?
If someone was firing, if I was out there and I was next to someone firing at me, or someone next to me was firing at someone else, I'm being serious here. I think the best move would be to grab a loudhailer and shout out, why are you firing at me? What do you want?
You're not being serious now, are you?
Yeah, I'm being serious.
Well, the Russian isn't going to know what you're talking about.
All right, Nick, I'm being very serious, and you ought to listen. I would listen to the people that want elections, because Fakir, I think, has no interest really in real peace out there. If he wanted to make it... Well, he would have...
I'm happy to criticise him on most things, but I don't know about that, sir.
He would have raised the enlistment age. 70-year-old women were being armed in Ukraine in February 2022 out there. Okay? He's a joke. What's he going to do when he gets to Kiev, which changed its spelling? I know a Russian man up the road who's a lovely guy who works for the family. Our conversations with the Ukraine over the last few years have lasted about under 3 minutes.
Right.
But I know that conflict has divided Russian and British couples, amazingly, in the same way that leaving the EU used to divide people.
Robert, I must move on. Thank you for your input. Much to consider. Don't know that I'm on the same page with all of it. Certainly not the idea of shouting at the Russians, but...
My country has been under dictatorship for 47 years, Islamic dictatorship. And I wish to wake up tomorrow morning with the news that Trump has attacked my country and took over my country. And even though they rob my oil, I want my freedom.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if you were a Venezuelan, you would be happy today.
Yes. If it would have been happened to my country, I haven't seen my country for 15 years because I have to flee. I want to go back to my country. I want to have my freedom. And do you know what about Trump? He's an idiot. I hate him. He's a misogynist. He's the worst person you can imagine. But at least he's honest. If he colonizes a country, he says that. Many European countries, many Western countries do that without saying it. And
he hasn't explicitly said that he colonized. He says we're going to run it until we can something about a peaceful regime change. Well, in yours and I's eyes, yes, it is. But that I'm sure that he wouldn't frame it in those terms. But do you have any?
What he said was clearly, I'm going to run this country. I'm going to sell their oil, and I'm going to get their money. I'm going to his word was like, I'm going to get some of money for what Venezuela cost us. So he's clearly saying that. He's saying that he's going to sell their oil. But nobody in Europe or Western countries, they never say that, but they do that. But me, as an Iranian, under dictatorship, I want freedom, and I want Western countries, I want America, take my oil, it's all yours, give my freedom. We can do, we are smart, we can run our country without oil.
I hear you, and I completely understand why you're saying what you're saying. Do you have any concerns at all about the way that Donald Trump has done this?
Yes, it's not right. I'm not saying it's right. But all I'm saying, from my point of view, living under Islamic dictatorship, I don't want to live there. I'm tired of 47 years of living under dictatorship. And you haven't lived under dictatorship. You should go to these countries and to understand that you can't say anything. You can't even choose what you wear in my country. Hijab is compulsory for women. My sister, my mother, my wife, my daughter have no rights. Simply no rights. And I don't want it. As a man, I don't want them living under my roof.
I completely understand what you're saying, Yashar, and thank you so much for your call. My concern, of course, is that listening to Simon Marks earlier and talking about the brutality of Trump's ICE groups and what they're doing on the streets of the United States and the misogyny that's creeping into their domestic policy, is that I'm not for 1 second suggesting that the United States is a dictatorship on a par with Iran, but that's definitely the path they're on. That's the direction that they're meandering in. And it does, it's a complex moral thing. Who are the United States to dictate how the rest of the world should live?
Well, I'll tell you why, Nick. I've been watching a close eye on this since June, since the Portland ICE facility in Chicago was demonstrated on. And the local mayors and the local politicians are encouraging the local public to block vehicles in to stop them doing their duty from getting criminals out of America. They're using their cars as weapons. They're throwing things at them, fireworks. I'm surprised no one's been shot and killed before this, Nick. I must have researched this for about 300 hours, I kid you not. And I think, Nick, you're in a vehicle, a very fast-moving vehicle. It was a 4x4 large vehicle.
It wasn't moving fast. It wasn't moving fast, Kevin.
No, but if you see the acceleration it picks up when it hit that white car.
Well, she's dead.
Yeah,
well, she's dying. She's not in control of it anymore.
Nick.
Well,
the guy was that... No, let me finish.
Hang on. I just want to clarify. The woman almost certainly is unconscious. She is dying. She's not in control of her vehicle then, Kevin.
Nick, you cannot... What happens if in this country, every time a policeman goes about their lawful activities, they get blocked in by our local people? Would you stand for that, Nick? Would our police stand for it?
No, but I wouldn't start... Hold on. I wouldn't start shooting them.
Nick, but if a vehicle's driving towards you, the woman can accelerate. I'm sorry, Nick, she's going down. No, she's going down, Nick.
No, hold on. It's driving to the side of the officer. He can eat...
What's at the front? The guy shimmied to the side.
The guy who does the shooting, shoots initially from the side window.
No, if you look at it from a different angle, he was at the front of the vehicle.
He's not in danger at all.
Nick, what is it you can't understand, you people, about when you're given a lawful... You stop and you do what they ask you. Otherwise, you face the consequences, Nick. If a policeman asks me to step out of the vehicle, I'm stepping out of the vehicle, Nick. What can't you understand about that?
I understand totally about that. And if you've listened to me down the years, you'll know I'm at times a staunch defender of police and police actions. But in this one, and I won't pretend I've studied it. Did you say you've watched it 300 times? I haven't watched it 300 times. But I can see no justification. There is no need
of research.
Okay, sir. I can see
from Portland, Chicago.
Okay, sir. I can see no justification for that ICE agent's office. I'm sorry.
Well, if someone's driving a car towards you, Nick, they're going down, and that's the law in America. They're armed.
Well, it may be the law in America, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right.